One word that's taken the wellness industry by storm is biohacking. So many people have actually told me that they've used biohacking to achieve the best version of themselves. But what is biohacking?
We all live in a finite period of time.
Right.
You can change your mobile, you can change your laptop. You can't change your human body. And therefore, we are stuck with this vehicle. Now, how we drive this vehicle is performance, and how this vehicle ages is all about taking care of it. So, biohacking, I think, is you're stuck with one car for the rest of your life. Drive it carefully. This constant low energy in the population is becoming the reason we are having more stress, more cortisol, more obesity, more diabetes. If everyone's having issues today in their life, it's all lifestyle related.
If I have to give my audience 5 nutrition hacks to better their life, what would it be? Where do you see, what is the future of biohacking? Where do you see this go?
The future of biohacking is that
Hi everyone, welcome back to Take 20. One word that's taken the wellness industry by storm is biohacking. Everywhere I turn, someone's biohacking their biology to optimize their performance, to increase energy, to live longer, to reduce their biological age. I mean, I've heard everything. So many people have actually told me that they've used biohacking to achieve the best version of themselves. Now, I'm a believer, to be honest, but that's not enough, is it? Just because I'm a believer. We need to know what is right, what is true, what is not, what is fantasy, and some of the biohacks that can actually harm us and the things that we need to be skeptical about. So, we are going to discuss what's fact and what's fiction today with Ryan Fernando, and he is at the forefront of biohacking. Ryan Fernando, his clients include like Olympians, A-list celebrities, A-list athletes, and you have really, really helped people achieve their best. And you use everything from gene markers, biomarkers, or individualized nutrition, and cutting edge technology. So, how did you even begin this journey? Because this is all new for us.
so very interesting. I've never told people about this. I studied in Scotland and I did food biotech, and I studied in a brewery where yeast is the most researched microorganism in aging. And why in a brewery is because if you have the perfect yeast, you get the perfect brew. And when brewing beer, yeast is not new. You take the same yeast, rewash it, and try and keep that generation of yeast the same. So if you get a perfect brew, then the brewery makes millions of dollars. So they found a way, how can they prolong the age of a yeast life cycle? The tenets of nutrition for preserving the best possible yeast and their progeny starts the science of aging. So that's where it started for me. I inadvertently, by accident, took a course in food biotech. It was food science and
And
nutrition.
extrapolated it to humans?
And kind of, because when I came back to India, I tried to get a job in the alcohol industry.
You come far from
I
there.
think the good Lord had some, no, you're not going to go into the alcohol industry. You're going to go into the wellness and healthcare industry. So long story short, I think what happens is the understanding of biochemistry and physicality, all of these. So physics, chemistry, biology, we study in science. What is a human body? Biology, physics is movement, chemistry is the internal, everything that happens. So this has existed for centuries in Western medicine. When you're broken, you take some medicine and you heal yourself. But as life has begun to evolve, we started getting sports people. Now, Sam, if you have a car, there's something called seat belts and ABS system in cars. They were first discovered in sports racing. Similarly, most of your biohacking has been discovered in sports athletes.
Absolutely.
Because 15, 20, 30 years ago, everyone wanted to be Citis Altis Fortis. right? They wanted to get to the highest possible level, quickest possible level, strongest possible level. So, nutrition scientists, exercise physiology scientists started biohacking. So, biohacking means what? What can I breathe? What can I consume? Or what can I do to change the exercise physiology that comes out of my body? And thus, this whole concept was formed.
For those who don't even know what biohacking is, according to you, what is biohacking in the medical sense?
In the medical sense, biohacking is kind of discovering what molecules can change your metabolism. And metabolism means we all live in a finite period of time.
Right.
So, finite period of time means age. So, you can have hacking for two perspectives, to get more performance or to live longer. The question today that everyone wants is both
Both.
together. Both together. And it's happening, right? So, when I work with the celebrities and I work with the Olympic level athletes, in the olden days, athletes only wanted performance. Now they want the looks, they want the skin, they want the, like, I do have half of the old Indian senior cricket team now coming to me. They're all retired and they're like, okay, how can I look younger? So vanity is a huge part in playing of biohacking, but biohacking, in my opinion, is discovering small jugards.
Jugards.
Small jugards.
That we understand.
Yeah, small
That we
jugards.
definitely understand.
Small jugards in your diet, in your sleep, things like cold shower, all of these contribute to plus 0.1%, and you then can begin to hold your aging. So biohacking goes in that direction.
So say 5 years ago, I'm sure the people who came to you were top performers. They really needed it. Did you expect for it to be the word to be used everywhere now, and everyone is talking about it, and for it to be at this scale, for you to be doing multiple podcasts just on the sole subject of biohacking?
So Sam, honestly speaking, you're absolutely right. I never thought that what I do is a profession, which is feeding people right, telling them what are the best exercises for their body type, or maybe getting a certain type of algae that will boost performance because it helps in recovery, or don't drink alcohol, would result in this concept of biohacking. And I think we've got to thank people like Dr. David Sinclair, Dave Asprey. These are the guys who made it fashionable. Otherwise, biohacking previously was diet,
Too serious.
supplementation. And now this biohacking is really cool. And I think the world also is understanding post COVID
Right.
that, and this is as if you come to my office, the front door has a lovely saying: your body is the most expensive real estate you'll ever own.
You send me that message as well.
Right?
Right.
So imagine you have this beautiful house, right? But Sam, you can always change this house. You have a beautiful car. You can change your car. You can change your mobile. You can change your laptop. You can't change your human body. And therefore, we are stuck with this vehicle. Now, how we drive this vehicle is performance, and how this vehicle ages is all about taking care of it. So, biohacking, I think, is you're stuck with one car for the rest of your life. Drive it carefully.
Yeah, apart from COVID, I also believe that in the age of AI, our real currency will end up being knowledge, creativity, and performance.
The humanity effect.
Absolutely. So, in the age of AI, you better be sharp, or you better be at your optimal best, don't you think?
Absolutely. Look, I think humans are also the democratization of availability of knowledge. Like, you asked me, did I know this would be like this 2 decades later? I'm from the generation that had pagers.
Right.
Okay.
Lucky you.
And I know the medical knowledge that I got in Goa Medical College was going to the library and going through books. So,
Mm.
up until maybe about 15 years ago, there were people like me who had this knowledge, and the A-listers came to us. But what's the beautiful part about Google and the internet and Instagram and podcasts like this is the democratization of the availability of knowledge. The negative is that people believe they can self fix themselves.
Right.
So, um, All of us in all professions always have a mentor or a guru. I think when it comes to biohacking, you need a mentor or you need a guru.
I agree. I completely agree. But also, I do believe that conversation is very important. Conversations like these, where the audience finally becomes the captain of their own ship. They are not naive. Usually what happens is you go to the doctor's office, you get a prescription, no questions asked, you follow it. I remember being so scared to ask my doctor any questions like, why am I taking this? Or, because it was like you had like 2 minutes in the office and then you had to scram out, and there was time only for one patient, 2 minutes. That's it, right? Like,
And
uh,
when you can't
correct.
get anything.
Anything out. So I do believe that conversations like this help the audience make informed choices. Um, they increases their curiosity, make informed choices, understand that there are many many options available, and then go to their healthcare provider with the exact questions required. Right? I'm sure the doctor is going to reply to you, but you should also know what you are looking for and what questions to ask. So I think conversations like this really help the audience ask the relevant questions.
And I'm really happy that you're doing this, because let's put it this way, okay? Conversation, there are two parts. If everyone's having issues today in their life, it's all lifestyle related, right? So actually, the medical industry is designed to treat you from death,
Sick care, not
sick
not
care,
preventing
not
care.
not preventive care. And I think biohacking is like if you have a timeline, there's death over here and there's birth over there, and everyone is sauntering through their life. Somewhere, something takes a hammer and beats you up. The question with biohacking is, can you be so good? It's like, I don't know about you, but I was a naughty kid in class, right? So the
I was a
teacher,
very good kid.
yes. So you're the girl that sailed through class undetected. You didn't get hit by diabetes or something like that. So I'm trying to say this. You don't need to go to extreme measures, but we haven't been taught in school or by our parents to live healthy.
Absolutely. I recently put up a story that said my biggest flex. My biggest flex today is these blood reports, the inflammation status. It went from all reds
To all
to
gr-
all
you
greens, right?
shared that.
And that's my biggest flex. Not the wealth, not the possessions, but my biggest flex today is that I could do this for myself.
In fact, the blood test, if I would tell anyone, is the starting point. In fact, a lot of patients and clients, when they come to our nutrition clinic,
Biomarkers are a big
yeah. So,
thing
so I
in
did
biohacking.
I did MSc in clinical biochemistry at Goa Medical College. Okay, um, I would sit in a lab and process thousands of blood samples in a day. This is the age when we didn't have automation, so we take a pipette and do it, and that's the reason I left the lab because it was too stressful.
Right.
These markers are used in a hospital to tell you whether you will die or not.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
However, now science has evolved in the last 3 decades so amazingly well that you can actually, with something like homocysteine
Yep.
or C-reactive protein, actually predict how much of thappad you're giving your body every day. And that's just the basic starting point. You don't want to do exercise, you don't want to sleep early, you don't want to follow a nutritious diet, fine, don't do any of that. Do a blood test every 6 months. The results are good enough to give you a wake up call.
It's quite amazing. When you're younger, right, you believe you're invincible. And I actually believe that my younger self should apologize to my older self.
Go back in a time capsule, catch yourself by the throat, slap yourself, listen to me. This is what you need to be doing.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, which is why, my younger audience are blessed to have this kind of information because we didn't growing up, right? Like we were eating everything and we were sleeping badly and we were, didn't, we thought we were invincible. And nobody told us that we weren't. So I think when I got sick, it was a slap on my face because I was working out extremely well. I was eating, according to me, very very healthy. So it would happen to someone else. Like, I mean, it can't happen to me was like my first thought, that how can this happen to me? I can only hear about such stories, but I can't actually be the one going through it. So it was a ginormous wake up call. And like everyone, I thought that it would go away in a week or two. Um, because that's what you have any kind of sickness, you take antibiotics for a week and it's all sorted. But it took a while for me to understand that this is not going to go away anytime soon, and it takes an entire lifestyle overhaul, right? And I don't.
I like that word, entire lifestyle overhaul. And the second thing that everyone at your younger age, if I met Samantha at 18 years of age, the audience out there watching, is this, that Superman belief that every teenager, young adult has should be sprinkled with little amount of wisdom, which is educating yourself
Right.
and never have deniability. So all of us believe we eat healthy. A great tool that I would give all the youngsters is keep a food diary for 7 days. And because we tend to forget what we have eaten 3 meals ago. And when you keep a food diary, you suddenly look at the genuineness of what you're feeding or the crap that you're putting into your body.
Yeah, but I mean, people. I'm sure the youngsters think, okay, these guys are old. They need all of this, and I feel more energetic, more energy, more focus, more clarity than I ever did in my entire life. And now I was a studious student. Um, I was always top in my class, but I can still guarantee you that I have more mental clarity and focus than I did even then. And I know that a lot of young kids struggle, with like 4 or 5 cups of coffee and wired energy during exams, because there's so much more pressure.
Okay, I'll share an insight with you.
Right.
Um, in January of this year, I launched my own diet planning artificial intelligence app. So it's crawled through about 3 lakh diet charts that I've made over the last 2 decades. So the machine has learnt of it. And the idea is to democratize the availability of nutrition planning.
Because let's be honest, you are very expensive.
Yes. So you know, I'm the Louis Vuitton of.
You are a Louis Vuitton, so we are going to like do like a cheaper version. And
But the AI is delivering it. But let me share a private insight with you. So I get all of this data of thousands of people of coming in. Sam, do you know the number one symptom that is being listed by people?
Mhm.
Fatigue and loss of energy and constant, uh, the flow is being pulled out from under me. 65% of the people in India, and that is why
65%
of the people that came to my app. These are thousands of people. So, okay, these are people getting aware. Let me download the app. Let me fill in the form. And now I'm listing this symptom. And this is important, okay? Because aging starts because you're drinking so much of tea and coffee. Why do you need tea and coffee? Something's wrong with your vehicle.
You're right.
It's not moving.
Yeah.
And tea and coffee are stimulants, caffeine. It gives you a false sense of push for a few hours. 1, 2, 3 cups, 4 cups of tea, coffee. So, which is why this constant low energy in the population is becoming the reason we are having more stress, more cortisol, more obesity, more diabetes. So, diabetes, why? You're eating more sugar just to give your brain a false sense of sugar rush.
I was very hungry on a trip. And in the flight, I was like going through something. Okay, what can I eat? I'm really starving. So I was looking at everything, and I was looking at upma that had sugar, or like poha that still had sugar as an ingredient. And I'm wondering, why do these things have sugar in them?
It's because
They're not
this is
sweet.
because our grandparents, when we were first born, the first morsel that is put into your mouth is
It's sugar.
okay. So when my kid was born,
What is it?
and I married a Hindu,
I'm very curious.
and my mother-in-law And my son thought I said it to this. And I saw sugar being put into that silver bird. And I'm like, I allowed my son to have his wife's, my wife's surname also, but no sugar. This can't happen, right?
Really?
So I think Cerelac in India
Mm.
has sugar in it as compared to Cerelac in Europe.
Right.
So the consumerism puts sugar in it. The chefs will put sugar in it. The kitchens will put sugar in it because we are a nation that moves on taste, not intellect. We are a nation that moves on taste, not intellect. So when I launched a sports drink, um, everyone came back to me and said, make cola, make pineapple, make orange. But all of these three, cola, pineapple, and orange, are India's best loving flavors.
Right.
They are artificial flavors. And these have drastic side effects in the human body. So you need to understand that whoever's watching in, the journey starts with acknowledging that you need to educate yourself.
So say I live with stress. Uh, I understand now that my food is not giving me all the nutrition that I require. I might not know, I do believe that the moment you cut out things that are affecting your gut, you will see improvement immediately. Like, but not everybody goes through these food intolerance tests and has that kind of information. So, what food am I putting into my system? Does it have enough nutrition? Is it not hurting me? And what are the habits in my day to day activities that is harming me? So I know that something is not right in these core groups. Something isn't right, and I need help. Where do I start?
So you start over here. First, everybody, like I'll share an example with you. Do you know Japan, after the two atom bombs were dropped on them, they mandated that every young adult that went into the workforce, the corporate had to do screening of every employee in Japan, which is why today Japan has one of the lowest cancer rates in the world because they constantly screen. So, screening is the starting point. Basic screening is a beautiful weighing scale in your house.
So basic screening would be
Weighing scale. If you can afford a weighing scale that gives you muscle and fat percentage, that is the reality check you will get once a week when you step onto it because it causes you to make changes in how you eat, maybe how you fast, how you choose your hydration, how you choose your vegetables, how you choose your fruits,
an exercise.
and exercise and sleep. We'll come to each one of these, but just screening with a weighing scale is step one. Step two, maybe a blood test. Now, I know the medical community, especially doctors, say that why do you need to do a blood test? Okay.
I've heard that before.
Um, I will argue only from a preventive perspective. India is a beautiful country that you can just call up and order a blood test. And I pray and hope that the government of India never changes that. So when you do that blood test, you will
And
discover
especially with women when they are menstruating, they are losing this as well.
absolutely they're
So
losing blood. And so here's the thing, okay? We are evolving as a developing nation. But unfortunately, there's a massive gap between the 300 million people who have the affordability and 1.2 billion people that maybe don't have the knowledge or don't have the affordability. So the hemoglobin, iron, and ferritin are the cheapest and most simplest blood tests for all the women. Because I believe that if the girl at the age of 11 to 16 discovers this low hemoglobin level, low energy levels, she will realize it's just linked to her menstruation. She needs to improve her diet. She may need to take an iron supplementation and a B complex supplementation. And if that works, she's going to start growing through life with greater energy, deeper sleep, better recovery, and she's not going to hate her menstruation cycles as much. So this is the second screening, which is blood test. The third screening is setting an alarm clock to go to sleep. I didn't make a mistake. Setting an alarm clock to go to sleep. Everyone sets an alarm
to wake
to
up.
wake up. So I did a podcast with my good friend Dr. Shane Criado, and he works with Dr. Danny Lehman, who's the brain doctor. So they did the research on where they put the skull cap and they made people sleep and everything, and they found out that lesser than 7 hours of sleep, your brain begins to eat itself. Number one. Number
That's
two,
a scary thought.
if you sleep lesser than 7 hours, you will crave anywhere from 200 to 900 calories the next day. So that's your third diagnostic testing. Having a sleep tracker wearable or an alarm clock when we go to sleep, right? You have different sleep cycles. There is a sine wave sleep,
Okay.
and then there is the
I go from beta to alpha to theta to delta.
yeah, you go through all of that. Now, before the advent of electricity, what put us to sleep? The sun.
Yep.
The sun went down, 1, 2 hours, and boom, you went off to sleep. Something called a circadian rhythm.
Separate, yeah.
With electricity, the circadian rhythm has been flicked out of our life, right? So now what happens is you're supposed to go to bed when the sun goes down, the sun hits your eyes, talks to the pineal gland and says, bye, release melatonin. Within 2 to 3 hours, you're going to go to sleep. Now, the moment melatonin is released into your body, it starts talking to your liver and your gut ki bhai band karo, shut down. And as it shuts down, the body will start feeling drowsy and sleepy. The first 2 hours is when you get the SWS sleep, sine wave sleep. But researchers in Sweden found out that if you eat too close, within 3 hours of going to bed, your liver saying, Salam साहब, अभी तो मैडम ने हमको ये
Yes.
पास्ता दिया और 4 घंटा ठहरो. So sine wave sleep is saying, boss, I already got melatonin, please.
Oh no.
SWS
Confusion.
शुरू करने हैं. Hey, बहन, तुम बंद करो. You cannot start SWS sleep. Now, Sam, SWS sleep releases the highest amount of stem cells. It's also called your beauty sleep. So, deep sleep in 2 hours in the first part of the night is where you start all your rejuvenation. And try and make it a point. My 5:30 to 6 o'clock counseling, I will sit on a balcony and get the sun rays and let
Lovely.
those things go into me because I'm like, I'm going to get deeper sleep. And SWS beauty sleep is also given a thappad by your mobile phones and your Wi-Fis. So you want to be switching off your Wi-Fi. You want to be taking your cell phone and putting it in aeroplane mode.
So I had made so many changes in my life, and I was pretty happy with all of the routine that I had created for myself. But the one thing that I couldn't control was this going to the phone. This relationship with my phone, which I was starting to question it again, this false sense of importance that yeah, it's my work and it has to be done. So I went on a silence retreat for 3 days with no phone, no communication.
You man, it's like a drug detox, right?
It absolutely is, like, no communication, no eye contact, no reading, no writing,
Eye contact.
no eye contact, no stimulation of any kind.
Your brain just comes down.
Just
to
comes
zero.
down. And then it's also a very humbling experience. You realize that so much of my ego is connected to my phone. My phone is constantly telling me who I am, how important I am, what I have achieved. And when it isn't there, you are just another living thing, like a worm, like a bird. Nothing at you're just going to live. You're going to be born, live, and die, and it's as simple as that. And the phone creates so much of an artificial existence for you. So it was quite an eye-opening experience for me, and I would definitely repeat it for sure. But I completely understand this fixation with your phone and how much it obstructs progress and health optimization.
In fact, I did a podcast with Dr. Uma Naidu from Harvard, and she's a nutritional psychiatrist. And she was telling me, from a psychiatry point of view, the phone gives us a dopamine spike,
Mhm.
right? She said, Ryan, after 7 o'clock, keep your phone away and keep your time for your loved ones. So, whoever are your loved ones, keep your time for them because you do get a dopamine spike from your loved ones. We've forgotten to get that connection because these devices keep coming in. The simplest biohack is 2 hours before bedtime, shut away the phone because the better you sleep, the lesser the cortisol, lesser the fat storage, greater the energy. So you can get up in the morning, you feel good. Do you know people with low fatigue? We have started prescribing exercise to them, and they're like, I already feel low energy.
Yeah.
Asking me to go for a walk. So I show them this study which says that people with low energy, almost like suicidal tendencies, if they exercise, energy goes up by 20% in the day, and fatigue symptoms come down by up to 60%. And I have been practicing in a clinic which is like a mini scientific study for the last 2 years. So every patient that comes in, we're tracking all data.
Right. Makes me come to my next question. We understand the value of sleep. You mentioned that you have a new app, the AI, that AI, where AI reads all of your diet charts.
Correct.
How many of them you mentioned? You
About
mentioned
2.5 lakh diet charts that,
two and a half
that
lakh.
were prepared over the years
Yes.
for people. So let's say you came to me and you had a vitamin D deficiency, vitamin B12 deficiency, and let's say you had a magnesium deficiency, and your microbiome, which is a certain bacteria, was off.
So based on that data, if I have to give my audience 5 nutrition hacks to better their life based on this enormous
The
amount
first nutrition hack
of data, yeah,
would be to get a blood test done, and what blood test would be the vitamins and minerals that are low,
that you're deficient in.
and then go to Google and say, I have low selenium levels. Which food has the highest selenium? It will tell you that food. Take a Brazil nut for low selenium levels. So, one is the diagnostic. I believe for India, the number one marker is high cholesterol that is coming out. And heart attacks are happening because of high cholesterol.
There is a sudden increase in heart attacks.
Cholesterol is a pandemic in our country.
Right.
I want to help everyone reduce the cholesterol. There was a research paper that our Indian gooseberry, our lovable avla, has reduced LDL cholesterol from anywhere from 20 to 30 basis points. It's a powerful antioxidant, which if I do with moringa powder, amla, and lemon early morning, provided my body doesn't have any acidity to it. So everyone's bio individual. This would be my second hack.
Indian gooseberry.
Yes, Indian gooseberry. My
Reducing cholesterol.
my third hack is people need better sleep. In better sleep, I have a list of nutrition hacks. One is a tea called chamomile tea. Don't buy a chamomile green tea because it has caffeine in it. Wow. The other day I had a client, she's like, I'm drinking this chamomile tea, you gave it to me and I'm not falling asleep. I'm like, ma'am, please send a photograph of label. She's like, what will you do with the photograph and the label? I said, ma'am, please just send the label. And then it was written chamomile
With green tea.
green tea. So green tea does have
Stimulant.
caffeine in it,
Right.
right? So chamomile, kiwi, the fruit, walnuts, tart cherry, and saffron are amazing for inducing better melatonin and deeper sleep. So that was my third one. My fourth one is for everyone who works out. No, I'm not going to say protein because research is showing that if you're bodybuilding, you need extra protein. If you're heavy weightlifting, you need extra protein. But if you can do it via natural diet, I'm all for the natural diet to achieve 1.2, 1.5 grams per kg body weight. So no, not protein. I'd like you to take high antioxidant foods post-workout. The protein will help in resynthesis, but the inflammation that happens in weight training is not being taken care with a beautiful diet. And so, sweet potato, preferably if you can find the Japanese one with the purple pigment.
No, we cannot find the Japanese one.
Winter skin it, but you do get purple cabbage in India.
Yes.
So I prepare my sweet potato with purple cabbage. Purple color.
I was just going to ask you, is the color has anything to do with
Yes.
it?
So purple jamun, purple cabbage, purple eggplant, brinjal. This has a pigment called anthocyanin, which is nature's aspirin. So it helps reduce all your inflammation and muscle soreness. So recovery is faster. So you feel good to come back to workout or walk or yoga or Pilates the next day.
Right.
Where was I? That was the fourth one.
Right.
And the fifth one, omega 3. I believe that our diet is extremely deficient in omega 3. 50% of your brain is made up of fat. Have you noticed that 20 years ago, India ate out only once or twice a week?
Yeah.
Today, India's eating out almost, 15 meals out of 21 meals in a week. My camera crew, my young dietitians who are bachelors and live on their own in PGs and all, they're all eating food from out. Do you think a caterer is using the most essential fatty oils? They're expensive. Cold press oils, they're expensive. So I come back to you with omega 3 deficiency because of this 50%, 60% is omega 3.
But doc, like there are 100 different omega 3s in the market, and I do believe that the EPA, DHA levels need
You've banged it right on the nail.
right
Sam, look for EPA and DHA
above 800.
above 500.
500.
800 is quite expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? But you will get
But you'll get
guys,
yeah.
economical guys at 500 EPA and DHA. EPA and DHA are like these two aunties at a wedding.
Oh, I see.
Okay, they're like family relatives. Then you have the omega 9, which is the toxic auntie. Right? Omega 6 is an auntie. Sometimes she's toxic, sometimes she's not toxic. And omega 3 is that lovable auntie. Okay, so these two aunties, EPA and DHA, go in and reduce inflammation. They also help in neurotransmitter connection. Right? When I conduct interviews in my clinic, I do a phone call sometimes, and I ask a long question, which is normally about 3 or 4 lines. If the person's EPA and DHA are low, they won't remember beyond the first part of the question. So
Really?
you look for mental connection with intellectual nutritionists and dietitians because you got to be eating well. People who have gut problems who can call up my clinic. Hi, from where are you calling? Can I have your name? Which city are you calling in from? What's your age? What's your height? What's your weight? If they can answer this in sequence, they don't have a gut problem. People with gut problem, the brain is not firing correctly, they can never listen. I had a mentor who said, listen with the intent to listen. Do not listen with the intent to reply. So everybody today is listening to reply.
Absolutely. My point has to come.
I have to give it to you. Eh? So I think neurochemistry to make us a healthier thinking nation, we need that omega 3 to be better. By the way, if you eat, and my father's going to hate me for this, he's like, dude, whatever you do.
Does he listen to all of your podcasts?
Yes, he does. You know, our parents are our biggest fans.
Right.
He's like, dude, don't make mackerel famous. Now, I come from Goa and they're called bangda.
Right.
If you eat one mackerel, it's the equivalent of eating 11 capsules of fish oil.
Oh, wow.
It's that powerful. So, me and my son will go through at least 5 mackerels in the week because that's our fish oil. Because when we did a pinprick blood test in my clinic, I was like, yeah, man, I'm Ryan Fernando. And my omega 3 to omega 6 ratio, which is supposed to be 3:1, was 33:1. So I was completely imbalanced.
Right.
So that's when I realized that I got to be more accountable of the nutrition that goes into me. So if we test entire Indian omega 3 levels, a lot of people who say anxiety and depression, I've had bipolar cases. We just change the gut bacteria, we change the omega 3, we improve B complex, and we take out those thappat foods, the intolerances.
Right.
They start shining in 6 weeks. Very simple. We ask people what agrees with you, what doesn't agree with you.
Half the people don't even know what agrees with them and what
So
doesn't.
I'll give you a hack for that.
Right.
Yesterday I was on the flight, and the president of BCCI was sitting on the side of me, Mr. Binny. We never had a conversation. I never met him, but I was observing him eating. And after he finished eating, he started going, I was very tempted to tell him, sir, something in that meal was not agreeing with you. So You need to ask, all of that happens for 1, 2, 3, 6 hours. That means something in the food you ate did a kujli in your body. 2 hours later, if you feel like somebody kicking you inside the stomach or grabbing your intestines and twisting it, or like a knife poking you, some food you ate is not agreeing with you. We pass it off like kuch stomach pain. Khana acha nahi tha.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Third is, next day when you go to potty,
Mhm.
is there a disbalance in what your potty normally is?
Okay.
And ask yourself, what did I eat yesterday?
What about gassiness?
Gassiness, if it's too much and the rest of the week you have no gassiness, something you ate has given thappad to this bacteria, and the gunda bacteria like, "Arey bhai, hamara dost mil gaya. Let's have a rave party over here."
Okay, got it.
So that's a lot of gas production and everything.
Right.
But coming back to this point, which is the next day you have mucus secretion. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday I ate something on the flight. I asked for a gluten free, but
Gluten free you asked on the flight.
yes, because I've done my DNA test and I'm allergic to.
No, but is there anything gluten free on the flight? Is my question.
I was surprised they gave me a very good gluten meal, but I forgot that you cannot select dairy free. So there must have been some butter or
Right.
some ghee in it because it tasted really good. But today in the morning, I had to blow my nose and clear mucus came out. But people don't have to blow their nose in the morning. Because if you have to blow your nose or your sinus is blocked or itchy, 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 you sneeze all the time in the morning, that's your sinus trying to clear. Ask yourself, what did I eat yesterday?
Right.
And that is a clear sign of without doing any pinprick skin intolerance test or food intolerance test, or you could do a microbiome test to figure out which of the foods that don't agree with you.
What has stress got to do with it?
Stress has got everything to do with it. I'll tell you, I work with elite athletes. I worked with a lady who broke the Guinness World Record of non-stop aerobics of 26 hours. Okay, her name's
Lethal.
Dinaz. Her name's Dinaz. She's a wonderful lady. She's a great friend. And I remember this was around 2007, 8, if I remember the year correctly. And so we first went for a 12-hour record, 18-hour record, and then we went for the 26-hour record. So in different periods of time over 6 months. In the 12 hours, she was stressed. In the 18 hours, she was not stressed out. In the 26 hours, she was not stressed out. And I had the privilege of having her blood markers.
Wow.
So she was literally my scientific experiment on hydration, loss of electrolytes, resting heart rate, what was her cognition, what was her pupil dilation, all of that stuff. Going for the Guinness record of non-stop aerobics. And what I realized in that, if she was in a calm mode, her heart rate was lower. When your heart rate is lower, your cortisol release is lesser. Cortisol is a fat storage hormone. Cortisol is released in conditions of famine and stress. Today's stress is different from evolutionary stress. Evolutionary stress said you had no roof over your head, an animal chased you, you got killed, you fell into a ravine. In today, what is our stress? Oh, my baker didn't come today. Oh, my kambali didn't come today. Oh, who's going to prepare food? Those are the modern day stresses, which the body interprets as evolutionary stress.
Right.
So, cortisol secretion causes us to raise our heart rate, and that raised heart rate causes adrenal to release, and adrenal makes us edgy, jittery, and we are constantly this edge and jittery. We don't know how to come down from a peak. So, stress has a lot, and when
Chronic stress.
this starts playing into it, the bacteria in your gut, which are around 2 kgs, it's like this, okay? If you exist in a house where everyone is calm and nobody's bickering, you will see the children that come out of that house are very calm. If you go into a house where everyone's bickering and everyone's arguing and everyone's stressed out, the children come out stressed. They grew up as stressed individuals. So I take this example of the bacteria in your stomach being your children. So har din thappad, 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 thappad. Now that bacteria starts saying, I will give it back to you. So we have bacteria in our gut that respond to stress within 7 to 10 minutes. In insensitive people, a chronic stressful situation can cause them to puke or get loose motions.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So that is an extreme medical case. But in normal people, they have resilient guts. But over a period of time of hammering, this bacteria increases sugar cravings, increases fat storage, and that sets you in motion for metabolic disorders. So, if you can control your stress,
What do you do to de-stress? Like, I noticed that just before the podcast, you said a little prayer. So, do you believe in gratitude and meditation and its power?
I'm a huge believer of gratitude. I mean, today I started my clinic with just one dietitian. Today we're 200, and it's not possible. So there's always a divine power that helps you along your way. And I remember once somebody saying to me that um, if God met you and God asked you, for what purpose have I put you on this planet? You better have an answer.
It's fascinating to me that for someone who's so scientific and who creates protocols and based on data, to say that there is divine power. And there is, it's unusual, don't you think?
There's an arrogance in believing that data and science is supreme, and there's a humility in believing that God created science and data. So, somewhere in between, people can have their beliefs or disbeliefs, and it's okay. I genuinely believe that if aliens landed tomorrow, I'd look at my wife and say, I told you,
Yes.
told you there are aliens, right? Aliens could be that divine superpower or God or whatever you want to call it, but
Your wife right now is like, why did you say this?
it's very simple. Stress, I believe, is a selfish human child cry. I am stressed. So, coping mechanisms, if you are stressed, check your diet. Your gut gives you a lot of stress. I'll give you a story. Researchers took sterile mice and they threw them into a swimming pool and told the rats, swim or you will drown. Now, they didn't tell them that, but they put them in.
Well, they meant that.
One group of rats, they gave a probiotic called Lactobacillus rhamnosus. They found that they swam about 10% more longer before they went to drowning phase. So just when they're about to drown, they used to pick out the rats. So the guys who are sterile gut, no motivation, too much of stress. भाई मैं तो आज तो कुछ काम नहीं कर सकता है हाँ बहुत स्ट्रेस है मैं मर जाएगा. And the other one got the good probiotic. So first thing, get your diet in check. Stop putting crap into your body. Third, learn to breathe. We are all shallow breathers.
Right.
So our lungs, so Sam, if you take a deep breath with me and sigh. So you just smiled and I just smiled.
Right.
So when you take a very deep breath, at the bottom of your lungs, the nerves that are there stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part which says, "Bhai, relax karo." But always we're breathing shallow,
Right.
only the top of the lungs. So you never go deep. So if you learn to begin to breathe deeper, so in between the podcast, when you're speaking, I go into a longer, deeper breath. So when I'm speaking, you go into a longer, deeper breath. When you're on a mobile phone, as you're speaking, right? Short breathe. Let the other person speak, go into long breathe. So long breathe is if you can do 5 seconds, inhale. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's inhale, hold for 5 seconds, and then exhale slowly for 5 seconds. And then empty lungs for 5 seconds, and then start the cycle. It's called box breathing.
Yeah.
This has been known to immediately biohack your anxiety, your stress.
That's
And if that doesn't work, just do this. Why am I on Samantha's podcast? Why did I have to come to Mumbai? And now I'm stressed.
Now I want to talk about the science fiction stuff, or, the big daddies of biohacking. I mean, I want to skim through that, like everything from, stem cell regenerative therapy and exosomes, and there's cryotherapy, there is red light therapy, there is HBOT, there's like, it's like right now you're like in a science fiction film. What are your thoughts on that?
The mobile phone that we have today, 20 years ago, was science fiction,
Right.
right?
Right.
I'm of the generation of pagers. Oh, boss, call. That's all.
Right.
But today you can get ChatGPT off your phone. All of the biohacking that's coming in, is years of research that has happened, which is getting available to people at a certain level of economy. So it is expensive.
Right.
Having a hyperbaric chamber in your house costs 6.75 lakh rupees,
Right.
right?
But now there are so many clinics giving you that
So the
service.
clinics going there. But I'll give you a simple thing, okay? A gym is one of the best biohacking centers on the planet. But how many people turn up every day in that? Red light therapy is amazing. Cold shower, cold immersion, amazing. Hyperbaric chamber, amazing. Plasma regenesis, amazing. Exosomes, amazing. I am all for it. Sam, when you buy a luxury vehicle, right? You don't ask for a nitrous boost car in Bombay.
Yeah.
I can see you're laughing, so you understand cars very well.
Where am I going?
Where are you going to piss? So you'll ask, are the shock absorbers good? Right? Is there
Right.
good air conditioning? Is there an air?
So get your basics right is what you're saying before you go to the.
So the basics is eat organic, find the high bioavailability color foods, high pigment reds, high pigment yellows, high pigment purples. These are the foods that go into you that are great. Then find the nutritional supplements that could do biohacking. NMN, Fisetin, simple B complex, simple vitamin A. In all your skin and dermatology treatment, vitamin A is the barb. But here's the kicker. Do you know too much of vitamin A can cause breast cancer in women? Ha. So now all of this biohacking done in self methodology, watching a podcast could be dangerous and activating cancer cells. I have a huge grouse to pick. I get constantly trolled on the internet about saying that you don't need a protein supplement. And I will be proved correct in the next 2 decades, as I have always been proved in the last 2 decades, which is India does not need a protein supplement. India needs to change the knowledge of awareness of which foods have a better, higher protein.
Right. So then let's play quickly. I'm going to quickly read out, but this has to be rapid fire.
Okay.
Drinking collagen for youthful skin.
Yes.
NAD or NAD boosters, supplements, NMN supplements.
Yes, but under cautionary advice because it affects your blood pressure.
How does it affect your blood
If you
pressure?
have low BP, it will drop further, beneficial in high BP. And for the uninitiated, it works better on women than men.
Oh, wow.
So women get longer anti-aging. Men don't get the effect. Men get the effect of better muscle development.
Expensive oxygenated or hydrogen water.
I would go with hydrogenated water merely because I've worked with the best of the best, broken Guinness World Records of human performance, and won Olympic medals. From a performance perspective and rejuvenation for recovery from excessive workouts, it will help.
Wearing blue light glasses all day.
Doesn't help.
Cryotherapy.
I'm for it.
What about cryotherapy for women?
I'm under medical advice of a good doctor, a good plastic surgeon, aesthetic surgeon, or dermatologist. The cryotherapy depends on whether it's contact or non-contact. And here's my logic. Fat cells reside in your body for 8 years. The cryotherapy that you use for aesthetics will kill the fat cell, and therefore you will lose a few inches. Whereas if you do a Ryan Fernando diet and you do it for 1 year, and then after Ryan Fernando disappears from your life, you stop his diet, that fat cell has gone down really tiny, and then when you go to Maldives, it goes boop, back up again.
Right.
So cryotherapy in contact and freezing a fat cell, thumbs up, but with medical prescription, because you could have side effects like people with platelet issues or skin issues, von Willebrand disease and all of the stuff. No, 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 no. So it always comes with a medical cautionary disclaimer. Talk to your doctor, do it.
Vitamin IV drips.
I actually personally do it,
Mhm.
but I think they are humbug.
But you like the feeling of it.
So I did it as a scientific experiment, okay? So I did all my vitamins and minerals blood test,
Right.
and then I took an IV infusion, right? And I took all the vitamins and minerals and B complex. So one is you get fluorescent urine after you pee,
Yeah.
which means it's going out of your body. But then I did a blood test 3-4 days later. the soluble vitamins go through the roof, the B's and the C's. So they go really high, right? You do feel good. But my question is, are there excesses that could trigger cellular overgrowth, which is cancer? So too much of protein, too much of sugar, too much of vitamins could trigger too much of a good thing, which gives you a thapate. So infusions are better medically driven when you have a nutritional vitamin
Deficiency.
deficiency. However, in infusions, I would do the ones which are with NAC, glutathione, which are more from the oxidation perspective, free radical damage perspective. So then in that case, it's kind of,
And what would you stay away from?
there's nothing I would stay away from because I would rely on my doctor to give me that infusion. I am I am against beauty parlors giving these infusions unless there's a dermatology qualified MD doctor over there.
Right.
I'm against gyms giving these infusions. The other day, somebody called me up
I've
and said
noticed
that
this.
there's this spa and they've asked me to do this infusion. If there is no doctor over there, do not take an infusion. Your infusion needs to be customized to your body. And by the way, they just cost 3 to 4,000 rupees. People are charging 40 and 50,000 rupees. Please don't spend the money. It's easier to buy guavas worth of that and eat it over 10 days. It's much better.
Fair enough. Superfoods. Are they really super or just overhyped?
It's we nutritionists trying to make them the Avengers in your kitchen. And so like a guava contains 5 times the vitamin C of an orange. So I would say yes, there are superfoods.
Blueberries. Like always
Highly
is
overrated.
highly overrated.
Why? Because um, look, you need to understand all of these guys hire media to promote blueberries. Like I was called up to
How
promote
do we
blueberries.
even know
I-
now?
So here's the thing. If it's too expensive, right, don't think that it's really good. All the berries are highly sprayed with pesticides and insecticides. Samantha, you will never find fruit flies around blueberries and strawberries. I remember when I would go to my granny's house, she had that duckhan.
Right.
You remember that? And those flies would come. Where are they? They're not there. So it means they're so highly sprayed.
Oh
Now,
no.
your blueberry, smoothie, blueberry, pesticide. So find an organic farmer. Samantha, if you and I have a little money, let's find a farm. Let's grow organic
Let's do
blueberries and
this.
strawberries.
I think we should do
Then
this.
we will eat those.
Yeah.
But look at the traditional Indian spices. Clove, cinnamon, and sumac have the highest ORAC score. Clove, sumac, and
Cinnamon.
cinnamon. Most powerful spices on the planet. They're the superfoods.
Okay, so in our Indian kitchen, if you could name 5 superfoods in our Indian kitchen, you don't even have to go out. Cinnamon for sure.
Cinnamon, clove,
Clove is there.
sumac.
Sumac,
I would do turmeric.
turmeric.
And if you give
But what is, all of this talk around turmeric root is good for you, but not like,
I think
what's
I think
what's
just
that
stick
about?
to our traditional Indian
Turmeric?
haldi.
Okay, turmeric.
People go for curcumin supplement which comes from turmeric. Don't do that
Right.
because it's a blood thinner. You could get hemorrhoids, you could get piles, you could get too much of thin blood.
Just the ordinary turmeric.
Take a curcumin supplement under the advice of a medical dietitian.
Got it.
And the last one would be I'm torn between ginger and garlic. Do a ginger garlic paste.
Both together.
Both
Okay.
together.
That's easy though, ginger garlic pastes. So my last question to you, what is the future of biohacking? Where do you see this go?
The future of biohacking is that like blood tests have become available to everyone, biohacking will be done by gyms, by spas. Uh, you'll be able to put it up in your own house. And so I see people, instead of buying a massive flat screen for 10 lakh rupees, they'll have this small infrared
Infrared sauna.
therapy. They'll have some steam in their
I love it.
They'll have maybe a small tub in their house where they'll do ice therapy, or they'll have a special cold shower which you can digitally program the temperature to come in at 19 degrees Celsius. And I had a cold shower this morning. In fact, today I called up the Leelas like, your water's not cold.
Cold enough. Right. Right. I think that this is a good place to go to, right?
Yes, it's a very good place. And I would just tell people, remember, don't think you're a Zen with a Ferrari sticker on it.
The Ferrari.
Become the Ferrari. Don't try and live in the Zen body and
Nothing against that.
Ferrari sticker chipkaya hai uske upar. That's biohacking actually.
Right.
You put the Ferrari sticker. change the entire vehicle is my advice to people.
Thank you so much, Ryan. This has been a wonderful episode. And I think that so many questions around biohacking have been answered. I look forward to all of your comments. I know there are going to be quite a few comments on this one. This is another episode of Take 20. Take care and remember your health matters.